Hi everyone. In today's episode of The Next Step, we have Praneeth Jain with us. The objective of this series is to talk to different people about their career stories and how they decided what they should do on their career path. Today we will be talking to Praneeth about how he navigated his career decisions. Hi Praneeth, thank you for doing this.
Hey, hi Nikita.
Right. Praneeth, if you could give a brief introduction about yourself, a little bit about your education and work background.
Right, sure. All right, so hi, I'm Praneeth Jain, and like most of my peers, I'm a quintessential 90s kid. My career path has been fairly traditional in that I pursued engineering and topped that up with an MBA degree. I come with about 4 years of rich consulting background. I've been in consulting after my undergrad and also after my postgrad. Currently, I work as a senior consultant with KPMG in their digital strategy. And I've served clients across different industries, having solved problems across different domains. And apart from this boring stuff, I also write poetry and am an amateur photographer.
All right, that's really good to know. I found it very interesting that you said you've done consulting both after undergrad and after masters. So
Right.
after undergrad, what was your thought process of going? You could go into core jobs, you could go into non-core jobs. I understand you did information technology as an undergrad. So what was your decision making when you were sitting for placements and you decided to go for consulting non-core role?
Right. So I think the beautiful thing about pursuing your undergrad in engineering is that it opens an array of options for you. As you mentioned about core jobs, non-core jobs, general jobs. Uh, those 4 years of consulting actually shaped my thinking, my ideology, and moreover made me understand what are my skills, what are my flaws, my strengths, and my weaknesses. And I was able to, since my specialization was information technology, I did not have a dearth of opportunities in terms of placements. Like you usually see that in core technical fields, you have sort of a dearth of options in colleges that aren't IITs or NITs, right? But I did not have that dearth, so I knew that I could pursue whatever I wanted to. But my strengths did not lie in the technical domain, and I tested this when I got my my internship at Juniper, which was a core technical profile. And in layman's term, I was coding day and night, and I was trying to optimize a router for them. Those 6 months were extremely precarious, and I understood that this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. I was not a creative coder, so as to say, and which opened me to the non-tech pool. And it so happened that Deloitte came to be one of the first companies on campus. And, like most engineers do, we try to get ourselves placed as soon as possible, not thinking about repercussions later on in life. And I just happened to be there, and I just went with the flow. And Deloitte happened to, be my convert. And I, did not regret taking it after that.
What I want to understand a little bit more is how did you navigate the actual placement process? And if you have any advice for people who are sitting for placements right now, what should they keep in mind? Any pointers for them as they try to get their first job?
Right. Uh, See, what I had done was essentially understand where my strengths lie. And I had ample opportunities to test that as well. For example, my internships, my labs, my course. Uh, Through a culmination of this and through especially my 6 month internship at Geneva, I was able to understand that my forte wasn't in the technical domain. And hence, I pursued the path of consulting. While I did not do a lot of research into what if not technical, and I just went with the flow. But my advice to students and aspirants out there sitting for placements is twofold. All right. So the first and foremost thing is that this is not going to be a make or break decision in your life. Right. While it's important to choose the right domain, the right profile right now, you need to understand that there are ways to amend it if you choose something wrong. So do not worry if you think you're going into a path that you do not want to pursue later. There are ways to change that. Second, I understand there are various factors like GPA, shortlists, GDs, PIs that might deter you from following that path. But enroll into only those jobs that you would probably want to do. Don't enroll into any job that you definitely do not want to do. For example, in my case, I definitely did not want to do consulting. I mean, did not want to do technical, right? So I drove myself away from that domain. So let's say you're somebody who enjoys coding, absolutely loves coding. Do not sit for a placement, let's say in a company that has nothing to do with coding, that does not offer coding as a profile at all. Because while you may get through and while you might, easily navigate 2 years, 3 years in that profile, then that becomes a stamp on your profile that this is what you did for 2 years. And it becomes extremely difficult later on to, uh, justify that with your current process. So again, two things. While this is not going to be a make or break and you can amend it with a second degree, an additional degree, or a third degree, ensure that you're extremely cognizant, weigh your options in terms of your strengths and weaknesses, and do not sit for placements that you absolutely do not want to take forth in your life.
Could you talk a little bit about your role in Deloitte? What worked for you, given that you were from an engineering background, and any challenges you faced and how you overcame that, given that you moved from an engineering into a consulting role?
Right. Uh, like I mentioned, I understood early on, like let's say about second year or third year into my engineering, that technical wasn't the right field for me, and which gave me the option of going to non-core jobs. And consulting is one of those non-core jobs. I also served as the convener during my time at Manipal, which exposed me to a lot of, let's say, face-to-face interactions, understanding challenges, solving problems on real ground, which is sort of a facet of consulting. Where you interact with clients, help them understand their problem, and then also solve their problems, right? While this was not a direct fit into what I was doing in consulting, it was sort of somewhat an element for me to understand that I will be fairly decent at consulting as well. I joined as an analyst in Deloitte, and I was promoted within a year. My job essentially entailed around risk consulting. I joined the risk consulting wing of Deloitte. And honestly, that was not ideal for me at that point, because I had read a lot about management consulting right through my undergraduation, and that was the ideal field that I wanted to be in. But since we did not have that opportunity, I joined risk consulting in order to at least get a flavor of consulting. My job was around pharma and healthcare industry. My clients essentially were from this industry, and I needed to ensure that they were following FDA regulations. They were adhering to them. My project essentially entailed ensuring that while my client was deploying an ERP across 40 countries, a global deployment, they were adhering to FDA principles in their documentation. In layman terms, I was a validator and consulting and advising my client in ways to validate to FDA. This does not sound fancy when it comes to the layman terms, but the thing was that I was able to get through my day knowing that I did not do any coding, and that came simply fairly easy to me. So time at Deloitte made me realize two things: that one, my step to not pursue the technical field was right because my strengths lay here, and second, that in order to build an illustrious career, I needed to do more than just a bachelor's degree.
What made you think about higher studies? Because you did do your MBA. So what was your thought process when you were thinking about higher studies? Were there any trade-offs that you were considering, growing in your current job versus, getting out of the job space for 2 years and then coming back in? So how was that decision-making process for you?
Right. Right. You mentioned the right word, trade-off, right? So whenever you're trying to pursue higher studies after having completed, let's say, 2-3 years in an organization, the trade-off is essentially your network, your connections in the current organizations, your ability to grow with those networks versus starting from scratch in another domain. In my case, yes, I had a trade-off. I left an opportunity of going abroad. I left an opportunity of, probably growing within the practice. But I did that all knowing that in the longer run, probably this domain was just a stepping stone. This part of consulting was just a stepping stone to get to where I wanted to be. And fortunately, in my time at Deloitte, I rubbed shoulders with a lot of management consultants who also worked on my flow. and that exposed me to the type of work that they do. And I interacted pretty often with them to understand how is it that they got to be management consultants, right? Because that was the charm of it all. And since it was such a niche profile, since it was something that always looked glamorous to me from the outside, because they did meaty strategic work, as they call it, I wanted to be there, right? And I understood that the natural career path towards that is either that you are coming from an IIT or an NIT and you get recruited into management consulting firm right from your bachelor's, or you do an MBA from a decent university and then you get hired. In my case, I had already sinned by not going to an IIT or an NIT. So my next path was to get into an MBA. An MTech or an MS was never on my mind, because again, I was very clear on the fact that technical was not my domain and I did not want to do anything with it. And also that I was not in a place, or I did not want to pursue higher studies from abroad at that point in time. So the only two thoughts that came into my mind were GMAT from India or MBA from India. I still regret not having taken the GMAT. I just gave the MBA entrances in terms of CAT and private school exams, and that is how I, ended up doing an MBA, because I knew that I wanted to switch my field, and for that I needed to forego my current network, my growth potential in my current firm, and look at what's important in the future.
You had just done your MBA, and you were looking to get into management consulting. So there are really two parts to the question that I have. One is how was life different as as a consultant post MBA versus a consultant post engineering? And the second part is, what are the 2 or 3 things that are really great about management consulting as a profession, and 2 or 3 things that aspirants should be cognizant of about taking this kind of a role and this kind of a profession?
Okay. The first part of your question, what was different from my engineering consulting and my post MBA consulting? So consulting works in two models. One is back end and one is front end, right? Back end is when the operations that you are doing are essentially a facilitator for someone who's at the client front. A front end team that is dealing with the client, who then takes your help and you assist them in doing client operations, client functions, analysis, churning, and then provide it to the front end team, who again interface with the client. Right? That was my role after engineering. So I worked alongside the US team, which essentially was which was interfacing with the client. So I essentially never got to interface with the client. While there are people who travel from the backend team to the client location on and off, that is not their primary function. On the other hand is a front-end model wherein you are going to be the face of the company to the client. You are going to be the one that interfaces with the client and solves their problem. So this is the biggest difference between my role in risk consulting and my role in management consulting. So currently I'm a front-end consultant, so which means that I sit out of client locations. I interact with them on a daily basis. I do stakeholder management on a daily basis. Try to understand their problems on a first-hand basis and then solve them while I review their processes and analyze and churn their data. And the reason that I wanted to make this shift was solely because this is where the growth potential lies, because you are going to be interacting with your clients on a daily basis and not just hearing their problems from someone else, which allows you to be a better consultant at the end of the day. And hence my fascination, or let's say why I found management consulting to be more glamorous and suited to my strengths, because I think I did better when I'm interacting with people rather than just doing a back-end job. 2-3 things that I really like about management consulting. So I specialize in digital strategy currently, which means that I help organizations solve their problems with digital levers, not just non-digital levers. Right. What I really like is that I have been exposed to a multitude of industries. I think I've worked in about 7 industries in my 2 years with KPMG already, and have solved problems in an array of domains. For example, marketing, sales, finance, operations, HR. What this helps me understand is the value chain of an industry, and also what are different levers or what are different elements that help the company grow. So I know for a fact that if a company is facing some issues in sales, what are the different data modules that I need to be looking at? Or if, let's say, there is a cultural issue in terms of digital transformation, how is it that I'll be how is it that I'll be able to enable the organization, ensure that their transition to a digital company is smoother? So what I'm trying to say is that the first and foremost advantage or benefit of being a management consultant is your exposure to a multitude of industries. The second is sort of a double-edged sword, which I'd also say is sort of take back from management consulting, is the extensive travel. Uh, Usually in a management consultant's week, when you're on a client project which is not your base location, you'd be traveling on a Monday morning and to your client location, taking the first flight out, and coming back on a Thursday night, taking the last flight out from the client location. So you're traveling twice every week at the minimum during any project, and that travel could be anywhere. It could be as fancy as, let's say, Europe, or it could be as uh, not fancy as remote parts of India, right? You can go anywhere, and the great part about it is initially it comes across as, wow, I'm getting to travel a lot, and later on when you get adjusted and when it becomes extremely a part of DNA of your work life, it becomes, oh damn, I got to travel. So it's a double-edged sword, but I think I'm still at the place where I enjoy it, so that's great. Finally, I'd say another benefit of being in management consulting is that while you get to network within your organization, because you're sitting with partners who have illustrious careers, who have known people, who's who of the world essentially, you're also dealing with industry folks. You're also networking and creating a contact list, so as to say, in the industry of your liking. So, for example, you're an automobile buff, right? Someone who wants to ensure that his career after consulting is in the automobile domain. You'll have enough and more options to speak to them later on once you've decided to, sign papers from your current job. So I think these are holistically three essentially, important benefits that I realized during my time at management consulting. And to answer your last part, which is about what should someone be cautious about, uh, you need to be a voracious reader, because as a management consultant, you need to know everything that goes on under the sun. You're expected to know. So during a client interaction at an industry, you're supposed to know everything about the industry. While you may have been just a week old, you are expected to know, because you are a specialist in every meeting, you are a specialist in every project. Second, as I mentioned, is the travel. It could get to you. It can, deter your cycle. And finally, management consulting is it's a time-consuming job. So if someone is just looking for a 9 to 5, I would not suggest management consulting at all.
Looking back at your entire career, right from undergrad till where you find yourself today, um, is there any advice, or what are your sort of key points of advice, key takeaways for students and professionals who are looking at a career path similar to yours?
In the first half of my career, which is Deloitte after engineering, majorly my decision was only hinged around not being comfortable with the technical domain, right? That was the only criteria that I put in, and everything else was going with the flow. Uh, Cut to post my MBA was a very thought after, articulated decision to join management consulting, because I was at a stage in my life where I knew myself pretty well. I knew what exactly I want to do in life in terms of my strengths, my weaknesses, and I also knew that this is where uh, I will be able to do better in life. My advice only is that while I understand that undergraduation is a place in your life where you're not really as serious as you'd want to be in terms of making a career option, and that's why you generally tend to go with the flow, which is absolutely okay. I've done that. I'm still surviving, and it's okay. Uh, just sit back and ask yourself once or twice maybe to understand what is it that you want to do in life. If you're able to get that understanding at an undergraduate level, nothing like it. You're going to have a happier career, so as to say. Whereas post, let's say, your second degree, I strongly advise students to take cognizance of what they're doing and make a very informed decision of what they want to pursue in life, because after that, altering your career path becomes a tad bit difficult, not impossible, of course, but a tad bit difficult. And avoid as many difficulties in your life as possible. So be cognizant of what you're taking as a choice.
I'm sure students and aspirants and professionals will also benefit a lot from everything that you've shared with us. So thank you so much for being
Hope
with us
so.
today.